The air in Koidu is thick and heavy. It's filled with dust from the broken ground and the memories of a terrible past. This is Sierra Leone, a country hurt by a long, terrible war. A country where diamonds, those shiny stones we think of as symbols of love and happiness, have actually caused fighting and sadness. Koidu, known as the Diamond City, has the deepest scars. You can see signs of the war everywhere, in the buildings with bullet holes and in the sad eyes of the people who live there. The Civil War, 10 years of fighting that ended in 2002, changed everything. It stole the childhoods of thousands of kids, forcing them to become soldiers or victims. The diamonds, meant to be a good thing, became a curse. They paid for the fighting, earning the name Blood Diamonds. The war may be over, but people are still poor, and others take advantage of them. Children, who should be playing and learning, work in the mines. They dig and search for a little bit of hope in the dirt. Their dreams, like the diamonds they look for, are often buried and lost. Koidu shows us the real cost of war. It's a place where people are still fighting to survive, even though the guns are quiet. Giuseppe, a photographer, travels to Sierra Leone. He brings his camera to take pictures of the people whose lives have been changed by the diamond trade. He goes to Koidu, the center of it all. He wants to understand how this shiny industry hurts people. He wants to show the stories you can see on the miners' faces. He doesn't just want to watch from a distance. He's there to listen, to learn, and to help the miners tell their stories, stories that are often ignored because people are so focused on diamonds. He knows that every diamond has a story behind it. He spends time with the miners, seeing their struggles and eating their simple meals with them. He listens to their stories of hardship, of lost dreams, and of the dangers they face every day in the mines. Their stories affect him deeply, and he feels the weight of them with every picture he takes. Giuseppe's camera becomes a way for us to see a world that most people don't know about. Through his photographs, he wants to show the difference between the beauty of diamonds and the hard lives of the people who dig them up. He wants the world to see the people behind the sparkle, the human cost of each beautiful stone. When diamonds were found in Sierra Leone in the 1930s, everyone thought it would bring good times. But that didn't happen. The idea of getting rich attracted greedy people, both from Sierra Leone and other countries. Big companies came, wanting to take all the diamonds for themselves. They took the land, forced people to leave their homes, and damaged the environment. All that money, instead of helping the country, made corruption and inequality worse. The money from the mines rarely reached the people who lived there. Instead, it went to corrupt government officials and foreign companies. The people who worked hard to dig up the diamonds stayed poor. The discovery that was meant to be a good thing became a bad thing. It started a war that would hurt the country for many years. The diamonds, once symbols of hope, became symbols of violence and bloodshed. The country lost its innocence, destroyed by greed. The sun comes up over Koidu, making the land look golden. But for the children working in the mines, the sunrise isn't beautiful. Their day starts before the sun even comes up. They wake up to a hard life, their small bodies already tired from yesterday's work. They go down into the mines, their small hands holding simple tools. They dig and search through the dirt, breathing in dust that fills their young lungs. They work with adults, looking very small next to them. They don't get to be children, they have to work in the mines. It's very dangerous in the mines. The tunnels can collapse, accidents happen, and they can get sick from breathing in the dust. But they keep working because they need to, and because they hope to find a diamond that will change their lives. Their dreams are simple: to go to school, to have enough food to escape being poor. Even with all the dust and sadness, there are still stories of hope, of dreams that refuse to die. These stories are whispered quietly, shared during short breaks. These are the stories of the miners, the real people behind the shiny diamonds. There is Mariatu, a young mother who has to bring her children to the mines because she can't afford to feed them. You can see the sadness in her eyes. "I want my children to go to school," she says softly. but we need to eat. Then there is Musa, an old miner who has spent most of his life in the mines. His hands are twisted and his back is bent from years of hard work. He talks about the dreams he lost, the life he hoped to have. "I wanted to be a teacher," he says sadly, "but the diamonds, they had other plans for me." Their stories remind us that every diamond has a human cost, a cost paid in sweat, tears, and sometimes blood. Big companies, with all their money and power, can sometimes make it hard for local people to get what they need. These giant companies sometimes care more about making money than about the people who live and work near their mines. It's complicated, but sometimes profits are more important than people, and the people who need the most help are ignored. But there are groups like ActionAid that are trying to help. ActionAid works hard to give power back to communities, fighting for their rights and making sure they have a voice. They work in local communities and around the world to create a world where everyone can live with dignity and fairness. They want to make things more equal and give power back to the people. Sulman's story shows how strong people can be. Growing up in a small village, Sulman had a lot of problems. He couldn't go to a good school, and he worried about having to leave his home. But he was determined, and with help from groups like ActionAid, he has made a better life for himself and his community. His story shows what can happen when we work together and fight for what is right. Think about what could happen if we could help every child in need. By supporting programs that focus on education, health, and giving kids more power, we can change lives and build a better future. Every child deserves to dream, to learn, and to have a good life. Together we can make that happen. Let's be the ones who make a difference and help the children who need it most.